Songs often are sung through us. Before I came up here today, I stepped outside and I said, as St. Francis says, Lord, make me an instrument. It's not about me. I really don't know what I'm going to say today. However, for those of you who are public speakers, a little tip, memorize your outline so you have a little structure. Do not memorize your talk. Let the spontaneity of the moment be the talk. Trust it. Trust it. Talk about getting out of your comfort zone, right? All right, so what does this look like? This is a diagram that came to me because my purpose in life is to align with, I say, the divine. So to me, that is just love. And to give and receive. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here. Inspiration is like a vertical line. So if you want to entertain the idea that inspiration comes to you like a strike of lightning, or when you're in your heart or in your center, you begin to kind of feel inspired to do something or be something, this is the flute. And it is literally our spine. So we know from Amy Cuddy in her TED Talk that when we are in a certain posture, we have more confidence, that it actually changes our biochemical hormonal makeup, that people perceive us differently. When I'm inspired, I stand tall and free. I love and appreciate me. My life gets better every day. I stand tall and free. I love and appreciate me. My life gets better every day. Louise Hayes, you can heal your life. When I was 16, I was dealing with a lot of back pain because I have a curvature, scoliosis. My mom, who's here, hi Mom, thank you for being here, was wise enough or inspired enough to give me Louise Hayes' book. And the prescription, the affirmation for people with scoliosis, I stand tall and free. I love and appreciate me. My life gets better every day. I stand tall and free. This is inspiration. I love and appreciate me. This is our intuitive, courageous heart. My life gets better every day. This is the giving and the receiving. This is where action takes place. So it's us. We are the cross. We are the diagram. And we have the ability in every moment and in big ways to play this out in the world. So the horizontal line is inspiration and alignment, being a window. So I studied with a Jewish wonderful mystic for many years in Scottsdale, Arizona. I learned a lot about Kabbalah. One thing he said that is taught through the Kabbalah is inspiration, or the daemon, or the genius, is just looking for a window to come through. So being receptive, being healthy, is how we become that window. It's where we connect to something greater, whatever that is to you. Everyone knows the feeling of inspiration. I know that, because I asked you at the beginning. So just let that be that source. The vertical line, that's where we give and receive. That's this plane, that's earth. So yes, inner work, going within. Yes, let's breathe out. It feels good to breathe out. It feels good to give and receive. And where they cross over is the heart. And that is where we discern. And that is intuition. So that's what we're going to cover today. We're going to go a little deeper into inspiration, intuition, and plain finger. Are you ready? Okay, I am too. Okay, let's get real. Have you ever been overwhelmed? Frustrated? Okay, good. People are fessing up. I think we know this. We get tired. We're not always inspired, although it feels great to be inspired, but by no means is that the state of affairs of the human existence. So we do struggle. I had the opportunity to sit on a panel in Siskiyou County with these incredible youth who were doing a youth entrepreneurship program. And a few of the seniors were getting up there and pitching in front of this large auditorium. Can you imagine? Talk about courage. We were voting on these kids and their business ideas, and in between we had the opportunity as a panel to interact with these seniors in high school. Does anyone else work with youth a lot? I'm so excited about working with kids because they have great questions, they're less inhibited, and even better, they have great answers. And they make great technology mentors. Reverse mentorship works, and they are the freaking innovators. Have you noticed? Yeah. So one of the questions that came across the panel was, what do you do when you're overwhelmed? Okay, this is specifically about entrepreneurship. I've got a big task at hand or something I want to accomplish, but it applies to anything in business, doesn't it? And I'm tired. What do I do? So the panel members shared some amazing things. Will yourself through it, persevere, keep the end in mind, just keep going. And then it came to me. What do you do when you're tired and overwhelmed? Get happy! Really, get happy! That's what I do. That's what I've learned to do because I used to drive myself through things. And I drove myself crazy, and I drove people away because I just needed to push through it. And I got a bit burnt out, and I know a lot of us do. So if it's 1 minute, 20 minutes, the rest of the day, I said to the youth, I'm saying to you now, what can you do to get happy? Because we know that when we are happy, when we are healthy, when we feel good, we make better decisions. The insane mind, as Einstein, this is a total paraphrase, but he puts it, you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that asked it. So how do you elevate yourself? And that's how we make better decisions, and that's how we get through. So if we're overwhelmed, we just want to move to a little bit of a better feeling place, authentically. And there's a lot of ways to do that. I'm not alone in this theory. Some very successful people, Richard Branson, he's always made health and wellness his priority. And he says, when I'm asked what's the key to success in business, my answer can differ depending on the setting, the subject, but when it comes down to it, the key is you. The simple fact is, if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to take care of business. Ariana Huffington, Huffington Post, internationally known, crashed. Some of you know her story. I heard a great interview with her and Claire Zammit of Feminine Power. She shares her story, and she is advising youth, and she is advising us as adults, stop worrying, get some rest. And that happens for me a lot when I'm discouraged, when I'm typing and making mistakes, when I'm trying to do something in my office and there's so much effort. That's when I might need to close the doors at 3 or 4 and get a good night's sleep. And then come back the next day, and I've set aside 3 hours to complete a project, and it gets done in 1. So this is the ultimate leverage. People talk a lot about leverage in business. The ultimate leverage is to be healthy, to be the instrument, to be the window for inspiration to move through you. Even the Dalai Lama, I love this. If you feel burnout setting in, if you feel demoralized or exhausted, it is the best, I like this, for the sake of everyone, to withdraw and restore yourself. Oh my goodness, don't go hang out with your family when you're angry. Retreat and manage your energy. And we're going to talk about how we can do that next. So in your handout, the bright orange one, on the back side, if you flip over to the very back, and if anyone needs a handout, I have. Okay, great. So maybe Stephanie, my beloved, sweet, dear friend, one of my team members, when Melissa was talking about having a team, and Stacy. So raise your hand if you don't have one. Great. So we're going to talk about what I call 1 to 5 minute resets 20 to 50 minute turnarounds and 2 to 5 hour renewals. This is going to be a group activity. But we all can find a little time every day, every week, and every month to be a clearer flute or instrument when inspiration hits. To withdraw, to restore ourselves, to relax, to renew, to get happy. So what can we do in 1 to 5 minutes to change our mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical well-being? I'm going to share a few, and I'm going to ask you to write some down that make sense for you and add to the list. 1 to 5 minutes, which I like to do at least every hour. At least every hour. Shift my energy in one way or another. One of my favorite things to do is get up and get out. Get outside. Go for a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute walk. Move my body. There's some wonderful breathing exercises. You can, if you can't leave the building, just stand up for a moment. Take some deep breaths like we did here. Move your arms, move your body. For those of you who know emotional freedom technique, which is a tapping sequence, maybe you want to do that. If it's your physical body that needs help or a reset, are you drinking water? Is it crying out for a piece of fruit or a piece of protein? Is it time to make some green tea? Turn on one of your favorite 3 to 5 minute songs. Start where you are in affirming the belief that you are willing to learn to feel better. My blog at joytaylor.com, if you want to look up a kind of fun post on Start Where You Are affirmations. I talk about how important it is when we are affirming to ourselves that we start where we are. Otherwise, what we're doing is not in harmony of thought, word, and deed. But we're looking to just reach to the next level of emotional, spiritual, mental, or physical upliftment so we can get back and be more inspired at work. So those are a couple ideas. One of my very favorite ones, though, I do want to share this, is I have used my iPhone as an amazing self-inspiration tool, the voice memo. And when I'm feeling good, when I'm feeling happy, I record 1, 5, even I have a 10-minute affirmation set. I love myself. I feel good about who I am and the work I'm doing. I'm willing and I'm able to be healthy and radiant as I move forward in my life, etc., etc. Create your own. It's amazing. It's amazing. You could have one that encourages yourself. You find it in your little library, listen to it. It's a 1 to 5 minute reset that really works. But I think you have some other ideas. So individually, to start, go ahead and write down what do you do, what can you do, to just level up, shift, become more receptive to inspiration. If you're an artist, it's kind of fun to doodle. If you've been sitting, it's a good idea to get up. If you've been physical, it might be a good idea to lay down. This is alteration. Okay, let's talk about the 20-50 minute turnarounds. So this I recommend at least once a day, preferably twice a day. How can you block out, schedule in, get up earlier, take your lunch time, and do something for you, for you, for you. We're doing something for who? Me. Thank you. I'll say it one more time. We're doing something for who? Me. Thank you. You guys are so soft. We'll do it for you. Absolutely. So what I like to do in 20 to 50 minutes, well, my very favorite is exercise. So every day I make sure, if it's 20 minutes, hopefully longer, lots of times it is, I'm hiking, I'm biking, I'm swimming, I'm going to the gym, listening to something very inspiring. I've become a fan of podcasts, found some incredible, inspiring people. You can search any topic and learn. I love to do that while I walk. I meditate every morning for 20 minutes with a beautiful audio of music that guides me in and out. You can do visualization. You can call a friend. but let them know the context. I'm calling you, I'm reaching out to you because I want to improve how I feel. Can we talk about what we're grateful for? Why not invite a friend into that kind of a conversation? I did that on the drive down. Actually called a friend and I said, hey, do you want to talk about what inspires us? Which, by the way, I was just doing research for the talk. But I do love to do that. I love to connect with friends, journal, play music, make a really nourishing meal, or go shopping and prepare veggies, right? I love to do this for myself. I call it setting myself up for success, where I buy organic veggies, I bring them home, I put on good music for a podcast, and clean them, cut them, prepare them. I have them all week. What can you do in 20 to 50 minutes to take care of you? So I'm going to give you a little more time to write down what you do, because I know everyone does. What works? It's the recipe to yourself. Or what could work that you haven't been doing. All right. There's plenty of time, and I hope you do take the time to dive into this more at home. Take a 20-minute turnaround and write down the list. Maybe have the list on your phone so it's with you all the time to remind yourself. 2 to 5 hour renewals. It could be a reflective vision day for yourself. Can you once a month or once a week find 2 to 5 hours and make a date with yourself? Get a massage, have a spa day. This is where you go to get your nails done. This is when you also could have a very special time with a few friends or one friend in the context of no drama, no gossip, but let's get together and let's get happy together. Let's feel good together. Let's have heart-to-heart time. What's nurturing? If you're an artist or a crafter, this is a big section of time you could do that. Meditation, visualization, journaling, writing poetry, playing music. So, are you getting some good ideas? I was in San Diego this winter, and I attended a conference by a man named Brendan Bouchard. Anyone know Brendan? A few of you do. He's the expert for the experts. He has a few different online courses, in-person courses, best-selling author, speaker. I went to his 4-day High Performance Academy. So it's all about productivity, and it was a very diverse group of about 1,000 people. I was not expecting this, but very pleasantly surprised to find out that more than half of the curriculum was about health and wellness. Because like Richard Branson, if you don't take care of you, you don't take care of business. So we want to open ourselves up to that. One thing Brendan advised, and I would advise you, if you're about to sit down on a project, set your timer for 50 minutes, 60 minutes max. When it goes off, do a reset. That's a way to prevent. So I said, what do you do when you're overwhelmed? You get happy. But how do you avoid overwhelm? You prevent it with these resets, with these turnarounds, with these renewals. What I would like to do is invite you to get into groups of 3. I'm going to use the chimes, but let's share with each other some of the highlights. Because this is a room of women who have genius, let's just say that, right? And we want to learn from each other. So I will use the chimes. You'll each have about 40 seconds, just under a minute, to share with the other 2 people, what do I do? Or what can I do? And if you're the listener, have your pen. Because I think you're going to get some really great ideas, new ideas. You might hear about some books. Be specific. If you have a favorite podcast, favorite music, share it with your sisters. So go ahead and find 3 people and get started. And when you hear the chime, I heard someone say, take a bath. Anyone gather something new from the group or from yourself that you want to shout out? Yeah.
The tapping.
Tapping. You do the tapping. Or tapping. Okay, great. Anyone else? Favorite song? Yeah.
you explain the tapping a little more?
Oh my gosh, okay, well, here's the thing. It's a good thing I was a massage therapist in a past life. Actually, part of this life. We have, according to Oriental medicine, a lot of meridians along our body. And so we know that when we stimulate those meridians, we actually break patterns and we stimulate change. And when we combine that stimulation with positive thinking, visualization, and a commitment or courage to make a movement, things can happen. And this has been studied, and there's one technique, you can Google it. If you Google tapping, you'll find out a lot, or emotional freedom technique. I'm not a student of the art, I've been exposed to it. But they have a sequence of tapping where you can move through emotions. Even though I'm afraid to take the next step in my life, I completely and deeply love and accept myself. Even though I'm afraid people are going to laugh at me or think I'm strange or what am I doing, jumping out of what was comfortable, I deeply and completely accept myself. I'm willing to be courageous. I am courageous. I'm going to take the next step. I love myself and I'm going to move forward. That's the best way to teach, right, show. But the beautiful thing we can also do is just tap. And this is what Brendan taught us. Pick 5 words that you are becoming. What is the stretch for you? If you want to write these down in your notes and play, let's play. What are 5 things you're becoming? Courageous, inspiring, confident, graceful, loving, kind, caring, spontaneous, flexible. And you take those same 5 words. I'm confident, I'm courageous, I am graceful. That's one of mine right now. And you just tap as you say those words. So that's a really fun reset. The more we move our body, the better. Actually, in the break, I met a really beautiful young woman. She's studying energy medicine, and she said, "You're going to speak next?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can I show you something?" Well, if it's less than a minute, yes. So she taught me to cross one leg over the other, get in this position, and take 3 deep breaths. The center. Then, to activate both parts of the brain, put the other leg and put the hands the opposite way and take 3 deep breaths. That's a lot of fun things, right? Now, where did these techniques come from? People who are receptive to genius, inspiration. So we can be that vehicle too and be innovators and create new techniques to live a more inspired life. And that's when it gets fun. One last thing before we get into intuition and playing bigger. One last thing about intuition. The Kabbalah actually does also claim that inspiration is a vertical line. And it goes both ways. We receive inspiration from above. We receive inspiration from nature. Did anyone write down the 2 to 5 hour? Yeah. Go out in nature, your favorite space. Or in 1 to 5 minute visualize it. We receive inspiration both ways. That also says in the Kabbalah, when people, that's us, when we are doing good work in the world, it is felt by the heavens above, and they are inspired by us. Is that cool? I like that, because I have a lot of friends out there. They're inspired by us and shower blessings back down on the earth. When we live a loving life, it spreads. Talk about energy medicine. We all have the opportunity to help people have a better day. So not only do we want to inspire ourselves, think of ways you can inspire others through kind words and acts of caring. Okay, so the majority of what I really wanted to offer today was inspiration. But because I somehow got inspired to say level up your intuition and play bigger, I thought we should cover those topics as well. Intuition is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. Intuition comes in 2 forms. your subconscious and your superconscious. But it is not conscious, logical, cognitive thought. Let's stand up one more time together. So intuition, if you recall, is that crossing point, the center point, the heart. So let's take a few moments of presencing as we shift into our next topic. Put your hands on your heart. And take a few deep breaths. And just soften in the stillness. See if you can feel love. Think of someone you love or a cause you believe in. And then bring your hands down to your gut, another center of intuition. Our nervous system in our belly is very wise. Many of us get gut healings. Take a few deep breaths here. And now let's visit the center between our eyes, another center of intuition. Some of us say, oh, I could see that. I see myself there. Melissa said she saw herself on stage. That's intuition. And rest your palms on your ears. Because often it's the still small voice or we hear intuitive guidance. And take a seat. So when I was exploring intuition pretty deeply, it was about 3 years ago. And I had this great idea to do a blog on intuition at work. So I started Googling it, and I discovered there's a book. There's an amazing book called Intuition at Work. And Dr. Gary Klein has spent very extensive time investment and research to find out what intuition is. And he says that 90% of the critical decisions we make are based on intuition. What is intuition? A subconscious process that infiltrates just about every aspect of work and life. And how does it work? It's based on our ability to recognize patterns or interpret cues. Now, this ability is not thought through. It's based on experience. And that's why it develops as we gain experience in our field. So he studied nurses. He studied many, but he studied nurses in critical care for infants. It was the women and men who had worked there the longest that could very quickly diagnose an issue with a child and know how to treat it. But they knew in crisis moments what to do. Didn't have time to get on the phone and talk to anyone. Didn't have time to research anything. Had to make a quick decision. How do I act? What do I do? And we know that the subconscious mind is so wise. Because how many of you have made a meal 1,000,000 times and you do not even think about it? In fact, you can double task. You can be on the phone or entertaining. The meal's just kind of being made because you've done it before. You've driven to work or you're driving to work, but it's your day off and you accidentally take a turn towards work. Oh, wow, okay. That's intuition. Well, that's your subconscious mind. That's what we don't want. Intuition is really powerful from this level. And this is easy to understand and research. But what's more interesting, or also very inspiring, is intuition is also a super conscious process. So it's outside the normal range of perception. We might just have an answer, get a gut feeling, know what to do. And we didn't even know we knew it. It has nothing to do with our life experience. Where's that coming from? It's not logical, it's actually metaphysical, beyond the physical. And it often comes in symbols, or dreams, or feelings, or senses, or flashes of insight. Intuition, our center of discernment. So what blocks it? I'll tell you what, the more we use it, the more it grows. That's for sure. So number one, what blocks it? Ignoring it. So what would stress? Absolutely. Yeah, your higher brain function. intuition isn't even working. We're not able to experience it. Our fears and desires. Because if we let fear get in the way, we don't take the next step. At the same point, if we let our desires and attachments get in the way, we might take the wrong turn. That happened to me 3 years ago when someone offered me what seemed to be an ideal contract. Something new, something exciting, lots of training. It was relationship marketing for a technology company. But it didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. But my desire was to get the check, get the experience. Didn't feel right. Within 2 months of my turning down the offer, the company started laying people off. They had a major management financing issue. So, thank you, intuition. But had I let my desire, because I'm telling you it was a silver platter, right? If I had let my desire get in the way, that might have been a mess, bad decision. Attachments to people, to places, lack of willingness to move. Thinking about Melissa's talk. Pleasing others. You know you're supposed to stay home because you're nursing a cold. But you told everyone you were going to go out and you were going to support that friend or you were going to sit on that board. Hello, I've done that. But you just are doing it to please others, and in the instance of maybe being on the verge of a cold and getting out, and then you get sick, right? I mean, this happens. So we have to be very careful. We need to ask ourselves at every crossroads, why am I making this decision? Is it a fear? Is it an attachment? Is it a desire? Is it I'm not good enough? Is it just scarcity? I don't have the money to invest in that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't spend money on a personal development course. But let me tell you, like Melissa, I enjoy attending high-level development courses for my professional and personal life. And guess who I've met there? People who become business partners, collaborators, etc. So scarcity could have kept me from it, but intuition said go. And go to this one. A desire to prove ourselves, and thinking too much, and the ego. And when I talk about the ego, all that is our personality. It's a composite of fears and desires and life experience. It's also a composite of gifts and talents. So the real trick with ego is don't identify with it. Once again, be the instrument. When we identify with ego, we're egotistical. When we let the ego be an instrument and we utilize our skills and talents, we're so grateful we have our personality. It's just as egotistical to be insecure as it is to be arrogant. It's self-identification with me. Give it up. Don't let the noise of other people's opinions drown out your inner voice. Steve Jobs. How do we level up? We be a student. So watch yourself, notice, have an intuition journal. If you'd like to level up your intuition, which will save you a lot of time, which will make more magic and miracles happen in your work and relationships, know your style. Do you see things? Do you feel things? Do you hear them? Do you sense them? A friend of mine told me a story. She heard a voice go to graduate school. Literally heard a voice. So she applied for Master's in Education and a scholarship and received $30,000 to go get her master's, which she starts this fall. Another friend was sharing a beautiful story. She heard a voice, go visit your father now. Bought a ticket for her and her brother, flew out to her aging father, had a lovely time. A week later, he died. She listened. Know your style. You're going to have more than one. But if you're the kind of person who says, oh, I could see myself on stage, you're more of a visual. And that's a way to test your intuition. Could I see myself in that job? Could I see that person in our company if you're in the process of hiring others? Does it feel right? And be grateful, because whatever we're grateful for, we get more of. What we appreciate appreciates. When you're right, woo, celebrate. Thank you. I want more of that. And if you have time, why not ask an expert? Back to the subconscious mind. Ask an expert, what would you do in my situation? Do you have a mentor in a role similar to yours? When in doubt, wait and let life prompt you, because it will. You'll get signs if you ask for them. And this is like being a little more comfortable getting out of your comfort zone. Well, we all like the known, don't we? Learn to sit comfortably in the raw of unknowing. Learn to be a lover of the mystery. You might not get the answer right away. You need more information. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Inspiration is a gift. I recently had a powerful dream that changed my life. And I'll share you a snippet of it, because we don't have too much time. But in December, as I was reinventing myself and had just launched over the last year and a half a sustainable online superfood store. So that project was sustaining itself, and it was time for something new. Right before the new year, I had a dream. And I started in the dream. I was where I went to college, and I was running. I was running through the campus, and I was looking around, and there's all these kids, and they're just look different, but they're having the same conversations. They're gossiping, they're insecure. And I'm running past them and having fun. It's a very surreal dream. And I realized the psychology of humanity hasn't really changed much, has it? Different faces, same neuroses. And I started jumping on rocks. Oh, this is fun. Jumping on rocks and leaping until I realized I was on these boulders that were floating in the sky. And I got to this tiny boulder, and I'm about to leap to the next boulder, and there's nothing but air. And I jumped. I had so much momentum, I didn't have a choice. And I found myself floating. And I was not in control, but I was not in control. And I looked around, amazed, and I started seeing other people who had taken leaps and trusted inspiration. So I'm excited to share with you that I have been offered this opportunity with my beloved partner, which is really a dream come true, to relaunch Unified Caring Association, which we will be doing in July. So one of the gifts I have for you is a little leadership wisdoms that we put together as the association, and you can take that home and play with it, but those are 18 wisdoms of leadership. But what would have happened if I had had this dream and had those insights and I didn't act on them? I really don't know. Could have been more of a struggle. All right, our last very short topic is play bigger. So we've talked about the vertical line, inspiration. We've talked about how we become more discerning with our intuition, and it is the ultimate leverage. Let's play bigger, which is such a natural byproduct. So one last time, let's all stand up. So we're going to embody these, right? And take some space and put our hands out this time. Find your space in this room. You are powerful, and there we go. There we go. So the horizontal line, our arms, that's how we give, that's how we receive, that's our out breath when we're compelled to give. So let's just say, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. Okay, you guys going to play with me? Find 3 people, give them a high five and say, you are beautiful. You
Charge it.
Go ahead and sit
Jared.
down.
If
The
you guys
more
want
we
to grab some
play, the
food,
more
help
we
yourself.
learn.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I love to swim. When I swim, I affirm. And one of my favorite affirmations in Lake Siskiyou, the more I play, the more I learn, the more I learn, the more I earn. But we do. Because life is meant to be fun, right? We talked about that. And when we have that belief, and we think that life is benevolent, this is a benevolent universe, how do we know what direction to go in? It's going to feel good, right? We just talked about that. And isn't it good to play? So stop taking ourselves so seriously when we aren't identified with the ego. We play bigger. We reach out. These are two of my great role models. Eileen Fisher, I heard her speak at Wisdom 2.0. She created a giant international clothing line. And she was being interviewed, and someone asked her, how did you do it? And she said, I don't know. Have you felt like that? Then she said, I followed my mission. And my mission was to create clothing where women looked good and felt comfortable. I followed my mission. That's service. That's giving back. Marianne Williamson, great metaphor for those of us who don't think we're good enough to play bigger or have an impact on the world. You live in a neighborhood, the house is burning across the street. Before the fire department comes, everyone's grabbing their hoses, their buckets. You look at your bucket, oh my God, it's got holes. What are you going to do? Watch the fire in the house burn down? No, you're going to take your bucket with the holes and the leaks, and you're going to be a part of getting the fire out. So these holes are our insecurities. And that fire, in my opinion, is this world that is on the brink, if not already, in some crises. And I am guessing that many of you are living within the world and seeing every day someone in your family or extended family with a critical health issue, seeing degradation of the planet. Many of you work with nonprofits and causes. What is your mission? What is your fire that you're putting out? Grab your bucket. If you're too fat, as we often say to ourselves as women, not good enough, not have enough experience, grab your bucket. What I've found to be true is when I'm putting out fires, whether I'm insecure or not, using that bucket, somehow people come along with duct tape, right? Or I get a great idea how I can fix it. We all learn as we go, and we grow as we go. In conclusion, be a vessel of inspiration. Be that window, inspiration, your genius, the muse, whatever you call it, it's looking for you. Check in. When you get inspired, is it mine to do? Because not every inspiration is ours to do. It might be someone else's. Discern when to act, when to not. And play. Play bigger. Have a larger impact. Have the courage, as we learned this morning, to face the challenge and to achieve. So I wish you a beautiful day. I look forward to meeting all of you out there.